tonight I'm joined by social media sensation Pearl Davis. Pearl, I've got some notes here, a little bit of background about you, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's not a good look.
Oh, okay.
It says you've been described as misogynistic, anti-feminist, the female Andrew Tate, and you believe, you wrote on Twitter, I think, in 2023, that women should not have the vote. Should they be chained up at the kitchen sink?
Well, I didn't say chained up at the kitchen sink. I just said we shouldn't vote.
Why shouldn't they vote?
Look, I think you need to have some skin in the game, right? Women, right now, we're not doing any of the infrastructure jobs, not at large. We're not paying taxes. We're in a loaded debt. And we keep voting for policies that ruin the country. So I just look at large and I think to myself, why do we deserve to vote? Are we paying taxes? No. Are we doing the hard jobs? No. If you just limited it to people that pay taxes, are not in debt, are not taking child support, alimony, or any of that stuff, it would be like 2 women that could vote left or that do infrastructure.
You know, if I said this sort of stuff, Pearl, I would get chased. There would be people out with pitchforks chasing me down the street. Do you get much, kickback on this?
Well, it's true, though. It's true. And it's so funny because when I talk to guys, I know they agree with me deep down. I know they just hear laughing because I'm right. And see, because you wouldn't find this funny if you didn't know that it was true on some level.
But you say,
I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that we have all of the say. All of the politicians have to cater to us, because we are the largest swing vote.
I can see what you're saying to a small extent. I've always said that men get a rough deal sometimes. Men are pretty useful when it comes to going to war. They're pretty useful when it comes to going down a coal mine and digging coal out. They're pretty useful when it goes to going into the ocean, fishing, and doing all the dangerous, nasty, horrible jobs in construction, etc. But women are just as important because without women, we wouldn't have children.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you should vote because without men we wouldn't have children either.
Surely women want a better world.
Why is it that we only give women credit for the children? No kids.
So
kids.
maybe one day when if you do have children, you might want to think to yourself.
Crazy. You know what I just realized? I'm sorry. We're not even doing that.
What?
We're not having kids.
Why?
So you said without women we wouldn't have children. We're not having children. The birth rate's decline. It's like one of the biggest problems in every country.
Yes, but it's important as a mother when you do have children. One of the first things that you think about as any parent, really, whether you're male or female, is what sort of world do you want your children to live in? Mm-hmm. And you can only influence that world by the ballot box, surely.
Yeah, so. But again, I think you need to have skin in the game. I think you need to be paying taxes. I'm not for men.
So you're saying that unemployed people shouldn't?
No. I think you need to have some skin in the game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair. And on top of that, in the U.S., men are fined $250,000 if they're not enlisted in selective service.
Okay.
That's why women didn't vote historically. It wasn't what they tell you, all this oppression, sexism. No, it was because the vote came with going to war. In times of trouble. So now it's like men have all of the responsibility of running society, protecting society.
Okay, so what about?
So that came with the freedom to vote. And
so
now,
I guess there's people like watching this now, screaming at the screen. And they're saying, so what about female politicians? We've had female prime ministers. Should they be allowed to enter politics?
Oh God, women? I don't prefer women in politics. I don't prefer it. But if they're tax-paying citizens. Fine.
So how can a female politician, we've had a few female prime ministers in this country, but you're saying they shouldn't be allowed to vote?
I'm not the biggest fan of female politicians. I think generally we're too emotional.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I want, in the U.S., I know more about the U.S. political system.
Yep.
So do I want someone with the nuke bomb that could get their period? And then she's in a bad mood. I don't want that personally.
Yeah, I suppose it'd be.
I fear the day we have a woman president in the U.S. I fear that day.
Why?
I don't think women aren't meant to lead. We're not meant to lead countries.
You're being a bit. If I said that about women having periods and about to press the nuclear button, I'd be in a whole lot of trouble. But men have bad moods as well. We've seen some people in the world that are leading countries. Look at Putin. Most people think that he's a madman. Would you sooner have him running the country with his finger on a button or a sensible lady?
Well, I can't speak to Putin, but in my experience, women are far less emotionally stable than men. I've interviewed 1,000 women, and I could tell a significant difference. And I think if you ask the average person on the street who's more emotionally stable, men or women.
Can you imagine the kind of backlash I would get, or any man would get, saying what you're saying?
I know, but you guys know I'm right. That's the funny thing. You guys all know I'm right.
YouTube, you got what, millions of subscribers? Mm-hmm. What sort of feedback do you get from that, Pearl? With these sort of ideas and theories you've got.
Some people like it, some people hate it.
Yeah, and is there a market for it?
Is there a market?
A market for it, yeah. Obviously there is, isn't there?
Oh gosh, no. I don't even think women shouldn't vote is the most popular opinion. I would say my stuff more focuses around family court. That's actually how I came to the conclusion that women shouldn't vote, was because, look, I wanted to know why men didn't have access to their children in this country.
Yeah.
And I find out that all the politicians are catering to the women, even though men are doing the majority of the work. That's not fair to me.
I think that there is some truth in what you say there about, in relationship breakdowns, etc., when there's children involved, sometimes the law sort of, is on the side of the women.
90% of the time.
Yeah, I know, I've been there. I was fortunate enough, though, when my relationship broke down, I was fortunate enough to have my children come and stay with me. So not always, if sometimes you have to put a little bit of a fight up, but your opinions would be crazy to probably millions of people, but some people might agree with you. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with you, but that's fine. We live in a democratic world. I think people like my mother and my sisters and the women I know would be going crazy at you saying they shouldn't have a vote, but I respect your right to have that opinion.